story name is The Crow and the Fox. Once upon a time, one day, a crow found a piece of cheese and perched on a tree to enjoy it. As she sat on a branch with the cheese in her beak, a cunning fox passed by and noticed her. The fox's mouth watered at the sight of the cheese, and he quickly thought of a plan to trick the crow. The fox sat at the base of the tree and began to flatter the crow, saying, "Oh, beautiful crow, how shiny your feathers are, how graceful you look. Surely, your voice must be just as lovely as your appearance. Won't you sing a song?" The crow, flattered by the fox's compliments, wanted to show off her voice. Forgetting about the cheese in her beak, she opened her mouth to sing. As soon as she did, the cheese fell to the ground and the sly fox quickly snatched it up. As the fox walked away with the cheese, he looked back at the crow and said, "Never trust flatterers. They praise you only to get what they want." Moral of the story: beware of those who flatter you. They may not have your best interests at heart. The story name is The Hare and the Tortoise. Once upon a time, in a lush green forest, there lived a speedy hare. He was known for being the fastest animal in the forest and loved to boast about it. "I'm the fastest. No one can beat me," the hare would proudly tell all the animals. One day, as the hare bragged about his speed, a slow and steady tortoise overheard him. Tired of the hare's boasting, the tortoise calmly said, "Hare, I may not be fast, but I believe I could still beat you in a race." The hare burst out laughing. "You beat me? That's impossible," he said, shaking with laughter. But the hare, eager to prove how fast he was, agreed to race the tortoise. The day of the race arrived, and all the animals gathered to watch. The fox stood at the starting line and shouted, "Ready, set, go!" Off went the hare, dashing ahead with all his might, while the tortoise began his journey at a slow, steady pace. After running for a while, the hare looked back and saw that the tortoise was far behind. "There's no way he can catch up to me," the hare thought. Feeling confident, he decided to take a nap under a tree. "I'll rest here for a bit, and then I'll finish the race." Meanwhile, the tortoise continued to walk slowly but steadily, never stopping or looking back. As time passed, he finally reached the tree where the hare was sound asleep. Quietly, the tortoise walked right past him. After a long nap, the hare woke up, stretched, and looked around. To his surprise, he saw the tortoise near the finish line. The hare jumped up and dashed as fast as he could, but it was too late. The tortoise crossed the finish line just before the hare could catch up. All the animals cheered for the tortoise. The hare hung his head in shame. "I may be fast, but I was too confident," he admitted. "I should have kept going instead of resting." The tortoise smiled and said, "Slow and steady wins the race." Morale of the story: slow and steady wins the race. Patience and perseverance are more important than speed or overconfidence.
Story name is The Honest Woodcutter. Once upon a time, there lived a poor woodcutter who worked hard every day, chopping trees to earn a living. One day, while chopping wood near a river, his axe slipped from his hands and fell into the water. The river was deep, and he couldn't retrieve it. He sat by the river, sad and worried, wondering how he would continue his work without his axe. Suddenly, a water spirit appeared from the river. "Why are you so sad?" she asked. The woodcutter explained how he had lost his axe in the river. The spirit felt pity for him and dove into the water. She came back holding a shiny golden axe. "Is this your axe?" she asked. The woodcutter shook his head. "No, that's not mine," he he said. The spirit went back into the water and returned with a silver axe. Is this your axe? She asked again. No, that's not mine either, the woodcutter replied honestly. Finally, the spirit dove once more and brought back the woodcutter's old simple iron axe. Is this your axe? Yes, that's mine, the woodcutter said with joy. The spirit was so impressed by his honesty that she gave him all 3 axes, the golden, the silver, and his own. The woodcutter went home, grateful for the reward, and lived happily ever after. Moral of the story: honesty is the best policy. Being truthful brings rewards in unexpected ways.
The story name is The Lazy Beggar, Once Upon a Time. In a small, busy village, there lived a man named Ben. While everyone around him worked hard, Ben had a different approach to life. He preferred the easy way. But what happens when the world stops giving and Ben is left with only his own choices? Why work when you can ask? Ben believed that begging from others would be enough to get him by. Tom's words would plant a seed in Ben's mind, one that could change his life forever. One afternoon, a wise old man appeared. His words were simple, but their meaning held the key to Ben's future. The secret to having more than you need is not in what you beg for, but in what you plant. For the first time, Ben decided to try something different. He asked for work, not a handout, and began his journey toward change. Day by day, Ben's garden grew, just as his strength and pride did. What once seemed impossible now bloomed before his eyes. And when the wise old man returned, he saw a new Ben, a man who no longer begged, but instead worked for what he needed. With hard work, Ben had earned not just food, but the respect and happiness he had been missing. Ben had changed, not just in what he did, but in how he saw the world. No longer the lazy beggar, but the proud gardener. Sometimes all it takes is planting one seed to transform your entire life.
Is the thirsty crow. Once upon a time, on a hot summer day, a crow was very thirsty. It flew all over the countryside searching for water, but it could not find any. After a long search, the crow finally spotted a water jug in a garden. The crow flew down to the jug and saw that there was some water at the bottom. However, the water level was too low, and the crow couldn't reach it with its beak. The clever crow thought for a while and came up with an idea. It started picking up small pebbles one by one and dropped them into the jug. With each pebble, the water level rose higher and higher. After some time, the water reached the top, and the crow was able to drink the water and quench its thirst. Happy and refreshed, the crow flew away, proud of its cleverness. The moral of the story is, where there is a will, there is a way.